My name is Samuel Freiberg, and for my end of the course project, I chose to do an extended lesson plan on the history of African American poetry. And the reason why I decided to do this was because my mom was actually a teacher, and growing up, she taught me a lot about this stuff as well as in high school. And I have some background, so I thought I could really put my skills to the test here doing this. So to start off, I really wanted to capture the important aspects of Black African American poetry, and I thought the best way to do that would be to take a couple of the most prominent, well-known, and important poets, and kind of learn about them, find out their history, read some of their poems, and analyze their poems to kind of understand where they were coming from during those times and what it kind of meant to their culture during that time as well. So basically, just to give you a little rundown of what we did, I started with, I chose 5 poems. And the first poet that I chose was Maya Angelou, one of the most important and well-known African American poets to date. I started off by giving a little bit of their background. So, for example, where they were born, what inspirations they had, where they worked, stuff like that. Like Maya Angelou, she was influenced by W.E.B. Du Bois, Lawrence Dunbar, and something along the lines of that to kind of give students a background of where they came from and what kind of shaped them poetry-wise. I then read a poem. I said, okay, we'll read Still I Rise, which is one of Maya Angelou's most famous poems, and I came up with 5 critical thinking discussion questions that students could kind of think about and do on their own. And as well, I not only wrote these questions, but I came up with answers for my own to try to give like a little more perspective. The next poem that I decided to do was Caged Bird by Maya Angelou, which is also another very interesting one. I came up with 4 questions as well and analyzed those. After that, I kind of did a little conclusion about the 2 poems, and then I moved on to a different poet, which was Langston Hughes. And I chose these poets just by how well known they are, how much they contributed to the Black Rights Movement and stuff like that during the mid-1900s. So then I kind of went with the background of Langston Hughes, where he's from, what inspired him, and then I decided to first analyze the poem Harlem. I came up with 5 questions, just like before. The next poem I did was The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes. I came up with 4 questions for that and analyzed them. And then the last poet that I decided to touch on was Nikki Giovanni, which was also one of the most popular poets of that time. She did a lot for the Black Power movement, Civil Rights movement, and I chose to talk about it was a small poem, but it was actually one of my favorite ones that I've read, and it was called Revolutionary Dreams. I came up with 4 questions and analyzed those as well. And then at the end, I just came up with 5 discussion questions about the whole thing, trying to tie together each poem and each poet, try to see how they all connect and kind of what they did for poetry in general. And so that's what I did.